Meria, a name as ancient as the roots of Yavimaya itself, a flickering ember of creation and destruction, a young elven artificer whose soul, though tender in years, burns with the fire of ingenuity and the weight of ancient histories long forgotten by the other denizens of Dominaria. In the land where verdant jungles weave together and the whispers of the past echo through the trees, there she stands, unfolding the hidden wonders of a world that had been forsaken. The forest, mighty and wise, had entrusted its leadership to her, a young one, scarcely out of her youth by elven standards, a leader not by years but by a mind sharp as the leaves in autumn. Her skin, a pale reflection of the moonlight, dances in patterns of gold, delicate but fierce, woven with the radiance of the very light of Yavimaya's ancient trees, and her eyes, oh, her eyes, deep and bright, intelligence burning there, a fire that reached back to the dawn of time, tracing the forgotten lore of ages gone by. She is the bridge, the link between the old world and the new, between the secrets of the Thran and the warrior spirit of her people. A warrior in the truest sense, but more, a thinker, a creator, an artificer of thought and steel, wielding the repurposed relics of a bygone age with a grace that only a child of Yavimaya could possess. The others of her kin, with their eternal youth and connection to the land, watched her closely, their hearts torn between admiration and skepticism. They, the ancient ones, the long-lived, who walked the lands with a timeless stride, felt her inexperience, her youth, her daring as something foreign to them, yet they could not deny her brilliance, her visions that drew on the threads of the past to shape the future. Yavimaya, the land of endless forests and sprawling canopies, a cradle for the elves, had been her home, a place of both serenity and untold danger. The ancients had whispered stories to her of the Thran, those creators of power beyond comprehension, those who left behind technologies as dangerous as they were wondrous. For most of her kin, these relics were to be feared, to be hidden away, to be left in the dust of the ages, but not for Meria. She, with a thirst for knowledge that surpassed even the deep thirst of the roots beneath her feet, had studied the ancient secrets, learned the crafts and forgotten arts, and integrated the Thran's strange, almost alien technologies into the very fabric of her being. Her armor, oh, the wondrous sight of it, was not mere metal, not mere leather. No, it was a fusion, a tapestry of past and present, a weaving of scarlet, ochre, and orange, with the subtle glimmer of ancient Thran components, repurposed for the defense of her people. And yet, in this world of growing turmoil, where threats beyond measure hung heavy in the air, where the shadows of war crept closer, Meria's resolve would be tested. It was not to be a battle of steel alone, nor of magic alone, but a battle of will, of minds, of hearts. Joda the Eternal came, a figure of great renown, an immortal scholar who had seen the rise and fall of countless worlds, a beacon of hope in a time when hope was a fragile thing. He came to Yavimaya seeking the aid of the elves in the face of the looming threat of the second Phyrexian invasion. The thought of war, of leaving the safety of the forest for the uncertainties of distant lands, was not a prospect that sat well with Meria. She, the young leader, was not yet certain of her place in this greater struggle. The roots of her people were deep in the soil of Yavimaya, and she, as all others, feared the unknowns that lay beyond. But Joda's words, filled with the weight of urgency, filled the air. There was no time for hesitation, no time for doubt. The Phyrexians were coming. The battle was inevitable. Yavimaya itself would be dragged into the conflict, whether the elves wished it or not, and then it happened. The attack came, swift and brutal, as such things often do in times of war. Rona, a name that would come to be known throughout the lands, piloting a dragon engine, a monstrous construct of metal and death, struck at Yavimaya with all the fury of the Phyrexian onslaught. The elves, ever at home in their forest, were caught unawares, the tranquility of their land shattered in an instant. It was in this moment of chaos, when all seemed lost, that Meria's ingenuity, her creativity, her vision, would shine brighter than the sun itself. It was not her sword that turned the tide, nor her shield, nor even her magic. No, it was her mind, her mastery of the ancient technologies, her understanding of the Thran's long-forgotten secrets that made the difference. In the heat of battle, Meria and Joda combined their powers, their knowledge to use the Thran damping sphere, a device capable of neutralizing the deadly magic of the dragon engine, and in doing so, they struck down the beast. But the battle did not end there. The victory was hard-earned, and the cost was high. Yet, it was in this moment, this fateful hour, that Meria made her choice. Her people would no longer stand apart from the world's struggles. They would no longer remain hidden in the forests of Yavimaya, distant and aloof. Meria pledged her elves to the coalition, a decision that would forever alter the course of history. With her warriors at her side, Meria led the charge at the Battle of the Mana Rig, a battle that would define the fate of the multiverse. It was there on the front lines that her leadership, her vision, her understanding of both the past and the future would come to its fullest expression. She was no longer merely a young elven artificer. She was a leader, a protector, a symbol of the fusion between the ancient and the new, the past and the present. Meria's legacy, though still young, had already begun to echo through the halls of history. Her name would be remembered not for her years nor her age, but for her unyielding spirit, her ability to look beyond the present and into the unknown, and for the brilliant mind that would save her people in their darkest hour.